Welcome back, everyone. If you're looking to get absolutely straight to the facts about the next generation of mobile tech, you are definitely in the right place. Today's explainer is all about the massive disruptions, staggering leaks, and just the sheer hype surrounding the highly anticipated iPhone 18 series. Let's uncover exactly how this device might completely rewrite the rules of smartphone design and capability.
But before we get totally lost in all the exciting new features, we have to address the elephant in the room. Based on some highly credible leaks, there's a burning question we really need to answer. Is the next iPhone genuinely becoming a heavier, thicker $1,400 brick? You might be hearing these rumors of a massive price hike and a much bulkier build and thinking, Apple has completely lost its mind. Well, stick around because we're going to uncover exactly why this controversial physical redesign is actually paving the way for one of the most phenomenal technological leaps we've ever seen.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap. We're going to cover the launch shakeup, the heavier design, those display and camera upgrades, the performance and AI power, and finally, the actual price of this innovation.
All right, Section 1, the launch shakeup, breaking Apple's tradition.
So, Apple is completely throwing a curveball at its own tradition this year. Usually, late summer means gearing up for the entire new lineup and leak excitement is totally peaking. But the September 8th or 9th event is reportedly going to be exclusively for the iPhone 18 Pro models. The base model, that's actually being pushed all the way to March. It's a split launch, and it's creating this incredible sense of FOMO for anyone who usually counts on that standard September upgrade.
So what you should really take away from this is that base model buyers now face a massive 6-month wait. Literally, if you are planning on treating yourself to a standard iPhone 18 in September, you're going to be severely disappointed. You essentially have two choices here. Pay a pretty significant premium to jump up to the Pro model right away, or just settle for buying last year's iPhone 17.
Moving on to Section 2, a heavier, thicker design defying smartphone gravity.
Apple is radically reversing the whole industry trend of paper-thin phones. The leaks are indicating the iPhone 18 Pro Max is going to be a staggering 9mm thick. To put that into perspective, just think back to the incredibly thin iPhone 8. We had really grown used to ultra-slim devices, but Apple is packing so much internal hardware into this new model that they've literally had to expand the chassis. This is going to be a remarkably dense piece of tech.
And obviously, with that thickness comes a massive weight jump. We're looking at 240 grams for the new Pro Max, which is up from the current 231 grams. Now, I know 9 extra grams might not sound like a big deal on paper, but in the hand, it's a huge jump. Fair warning, once you slap a heavy-duty case onto this 240-gram frame, this phone is going to feel like an absolute brick in your pocket.
But to balance out that bulky, heavy frame, Apple is adding some truly stunning aesthetic silver linings. The physical design features a flatter, much more symmetrical aluminum and glass finish, and they're swapping out the matte Apple logo for a gorgeous, shiny mirror-look logo. We're also getting highly anticipated new colors. Think a deeply premium dark cherry and a really rich blue. Plus, the Pro models will feature a frosted, translucent back panel, giving you this subtle, super luxurious peek into the device's actual internals.
Let's hit Section 3, display and camera upgrades, unmatched visual power.
And this brilliantly illustrates where that thicker design begins to really justify itself, starting with a massive overhaul to the dynamic island as we currently know it. Right now, we have a centered Face ID sensor taking up a chunk of space. Well, the iPhone 18 moves that Face ID sensor entirely under the display and actually aligns it to the left. The result? A notch that is a staggering 35% smaller. It's an incredibly modern, sleek cutout that drastically increases your usable screen real estate.
Now, the screen itself is a complete powerhouse. We're looking at 6.3-inch and 6.9-inch LTPO OLED displays, which basically means they are ultra-efficient at managing your battery life, and that's paired with 120 Hz ProMotion for buttery smooth scrolling. But the spec that should truly blow your mind here is the 3400 nits peak brightness. This display will be flawlessly readable even under the most glaring direct sunlight. And it's all protected by a next-generation ceramic shield glass that's highly resistant to scratches and drops. Flip the phone around, and you will instantly see why the camera module is taking up so much space. The iPhone 17 Pro Max featured a great standard camera, sure, but the 18 Pro Max introduces a 48-megapixel variable aperture main lens. That means it physically adjusts to light just like the human eye does, bringing true professional-grade lighting adaptability right to your pocket. But the absolute crown jewel is the 200-megapixel stacked sensor on the Pro Max model, promising unparalleled
Literally mind-blowing clarity and detail.
All right, Section 4, Performance and AI Power, the Brains and Brawn.
This is the absolute core of our explainer today, and honestly, perhaps the most fascinating development of all. Apple has entered into a massive software alliance with Google. Gemini AI is being integrated directly into Siri. Basically, how Gemini AI powers Siri is like giving Apple's assistant a much-needed brain transplant. Siri will no longer just answer basic questions, it intuitively manages your life. Gemini allows for incredibly natural conversational interactions. Whether it's managing your complex schedule, setting dynamic reminders, or doing deep dive searches, Gemini adapts to your preferences. And crucially, all of this happens with complete privacy preservation.
So, the crucial point is, running an AI like Gemini natively on a phone requires staggering hardware. Apple has developed the A20 chip, built on a cutting-edge 2-nanometer process by TSMC. But to support the massive AI bandwidth that Gemini actually requires, Apple had to make 12 gigabytes of high-speed LPDDR6 RAM standard across every single model, essentially giving the AI the short-term memory it needs to think incredibly fast. Top it all off with a beefed-up 16-core neural engine, ultra-fast Wi-Fi 7, and the new C2 modem, and this phone is an absolute connectivity powerhouse.
But what does the A20 chip actually mean for your daily use? Well, it translates to a device that is 15% more powerful and a remarkable 30% more efficient. It makes the iPhone 18 a multitasking beast that can just chew through video editing and AI generation while simultaneously sipping energy rather than chugging it. Remember that 9mm thickness we talked about earlier? Here is exactly why it's necessary. Running Gemini AI natively, alongside those massive camera sensors and a 2-nanometer chip, generates incredible heat. So Apple had to build an upgraded stainless steel vapor chamber, think of it as a high-tech internal AC unit, that covers practically the entire inside of the phone. This ensures your device won't overheat or throttle its performance during intense gaming or heavy AI workloads. But the ultimate reward for carrying around a thicker, heavier phone? Colossal battery jumps. The 18 Pro gets a really solid 4,288 mAh battery. But look at the Pro Max models. International versions with a physical SIM, like in India for example, get a huge 5,213 mAh battery. And the US models, which remove the physical SIM tray entirely to save space, feature a whopping 5,567 mAh battery. Paired with the A20's efficiency, this is easily going to be a multi-day battery phone.
And finally, Section 5, the price of innovation, AI boom costs.
Look, massive leaps in battery chemistry, advanced total device cooling chambers, 200-megapixel cameras, and Gemini AI processing, they just don't come free. Prepare yourselves because the baseline Pro models are expected to start at literally $1,400. And if you're looking at maxing out the storage on the top-tier Pro Max model in international markets, you could be looking at staggering heights, up to around 280,000 rupees.
Across the entire lineup, you should expect a price increase of exactly $200 to $300 compared to last year's models. This is a massive jump, and it means you really need to sit down and carefully consider your budget and your actual daily usage before pulling the trigger on an upgrade.
And the root cause of this price hike isn't just some arbitrary profit margin. The global AI boom is radically driving up the cost of component, bandwidth, memory supply, and advanced manufacturing across the board. Because Apple is heavily investing in creating the hardware infrastructure to support tools like Gemini AI natively on the device itself, those skyrocketing production costs are inevitably being passed directly onto the consumer.
Which leaves us with this final, really vital question. Are massive battery leaps, a 200-megapixel camera, the incredibly efficient A20 chip, and the transformative power of how Gemini AI supercharges Siri actually worth a $1,400 starting price? It's an incredible piece of technology for sure, but it comes with a deeply hefty financial reality. Weigh the hype against your wallet and let me know what you decide. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this helped you grasp exactly what the future of smartphones looks like, and I'll catch you on the next one.